Can everybody hear me? Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, brother.
What's going on, sis?
How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Hold on. Let me make sure everybody can hear me. D, can you hear me, Devin? Can
For sure,
everybody
for sure.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Coach
brother.
Pete. Coach Pete, can you hear me?
How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Hold on. Let me make sure everybody can hear me.
You gotta unmute yourself, Coach.
Okay. Coach Pete. I'll do it.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Good to go.
What up, Coach Pete?
Hey, sweetheart, you look as beautiful as ever.
Mwah.
Mwah. It's so good to see you.
Who's your favorite 139 pounder?
You are, honey. You
Well,
always.
I was.
You
Who's your favorite 139 pounder?
are, honey. You
Well,
always.
I was.
Hey, baby, there's a delay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a delay. Hey, there's a delay. It keeps what you calling it.
Who is that gorgeous woman? Mm-hmm.
There's a delay. Hey.
That's all it is. It's just
Okay.
it's not the delay. It's just what's playing
Gotcha.
at the same time.
Gotcha.
Okay, you're good.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, we about to get ready to start. We got a minute ago, so I really want to go ahead and start. So we are live right now on YouTube, and today's agenda is COVID-19. We know how it's affecting everybody when it comes to our daily work, our health, and everything. But I want to talk specifically when it comes to the boxing, combat sports arena, jiu-jitsu, everything. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and announce everybody. My name is Coach Stokes, and welcome. This is the Gatekeepers. How everybody doing today?
Good.
Good.
Good stuff, man.
Hey. We got today. Start off. I'm gonna introduce the ladies last because you know what? They always say ladies first. I'm gonna say ladies last. So I'm gonna introduce me and your ugly behind Devin. Okay. Devin, I got my. Well, he's not ugly. He's actually a model. His name's Devin Martinez out of Turlock, California. Jiu-jitsu practitioner and a model on the side. Then I also have Anna Carrizales. She's a police officer on the outskirts of Houston, Texas, and a Marine Corps veteran, and was a boxer as well. Is a boxer as well. Coach Gloria Peak, who's the first female to coach in men's Olympics. And also my mother, and then myself, Coach Stokes. How we doing today, everybody?
Doing great.
I'm blessed.
Hey, I want to start off. Thank you, Coach Peak, for sending me USA Boxing return to training. I'm gonna talk about the list that they sent out to everybody pertaining to opening back up your gym. And the first, they have 3 phases if you guys are not aware of it. But the first phase is returning to the gym phase. Hold on for a second, I'm sorry. And I'm sorry. And we have Teddy Randolph. Teddy, can you hear me? Hold on, let me unmute you, Teddy. Teddy, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I can hear you.
All right. And we have one last person, Teddy. Oh no, we have 2 people. I'm so sorry. Malik, you showed up. Thank you, Malik.
What up, brother?
Hey, we have Malik. So last 2 people that I'm introducing is gonna be Teddy Randolph, who is a United States Marine Corps veteran, retired from the police department in Atlanta. And then also
Sheriff office, man. Sheriff.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. Sheriff's office, out of Atlanta. And then we have world-renowned comedian Malik S. If you haven't known him, man, you probably been under a rock, but he's been on a lot of great things, man. Def Jam, you name it, he's been on it. Malik, how you doing today, brother? I'm glad you can grace us with your time.
Good, man. Hope all is well.
Yes. So like I was saying before, we were talking about USA Boxing returning back to your gym. They have 3 phases that they're doing right now. They have a tier 1, which is returning to the gym, where you're preparing your gym and your coaching staff. Is going to be limited participation. You have to be 6 feet apart from each other. I think me, Coach Peak, and me and Teddy talked about this last night. We get more into it. and then they have a second phase where it's slowly resolving down to club shows, and the third phase is where you'll be able to go to the nationals. With that being said, you and I, we all know, I boxing, when it comes to boxing, you have to be within close parameters of each other, whether it's boxing, jiu-jitsu, anything, combat sports. My question to you, Teddy, is how in the hell are we gonna make this happen?
Well, first off, thank you for having me on your show, Steve.
Thank you.
I'm honored to God and giving God the glory for us all being in good health and strength to be here today, to see each other, even to observe each other on this platform. Hey, Gloria, Coach Gloria, a legend to the amateur boxing program.
Hey,
Lady has
baby, how
been,
you
hey,
doing?
man, oh, man, kudos to you. I know God, glory to you. You've been in this involved with kids for decades, and good seeing you once again. I'm Steve Ura, Devil Dog, fellow Hall of Famer. Well,
Sorry, we got another devil dog in the house.
Ura. It's very difficult to proceed. I just think time, like in law enforcement, when dealing with somebody who a hostage situation, we always go with time is on your side. So if we have to wait them out without somebody getting killed, we just say, you know what? If we have to wait and we decide to let the other shift take over, and we just wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, they're gonna tire because it's only them. So we just switch our shift and wait till they just give up. And so that's what I'm thinking. Just give it some time. You know, fighters aren't going anywhere. Just put off tournaments, put off Olympics. It's gonna be okay. Instead of rushing back to put things back to normal, just give it some time and let's see what happens, because boxing is one of those sports where everything is in close proximity, and a lot of the things that's taking place and people that's dying are people that's underprivileged, and they don't have the ability to get health care, and those people are underprivileged communities such as African Americans. It's no big secret, and so a lot of the issues that derive from healthcare, fighters, a lot of these athletes don't get checked at all until the first time they ever get checked in their lives, or through screening when they go to the bouts. For real. The first time in the Virgin Islands I ever really get checked, when I first got checked, my hair, my ear, my eyes, is when I went to my first bout to compete as an amateur at 11 years old. The first time someone looked at my ears, looked at my eyes, tell me open my mouth, tell me say stick out my tongue, was when I went for my first bout at 11 years old. So, for me, just take your time. I think time is on your side, and let's just see what happens. And I just think that it's very just premature to just rush things.
Okay.
That's just my catch on things.
Thanks. Hey, Teddy, I want to give this to one of the ladies on the panel. Anna, who's actually the first female to ever box for the Marine Corps boxing team, and that's a
I don't
fact.
see Anna. I don't see Anna.
She's on Anna Marie.
I don't see her on the panel at all. I don't observe her.
All right. Well, when she starts talking, she'll pop up.
Okay.
Anna, could you chime in on that as well? I know you are on both sides. As a boxing fan, as a boxer, and then also, out in the streets. But how has it been for you?
Well, I did want to touch on what Teddy was talking about.
Hey, Anna.
Hey, how's it going, Teddy?
All right, Marine. Hoorah.
Coach Pete.
Hey, baby.
How y'all doing, Devon and Malik? How's it going over there?
I'm good.
It's
How you
going.
Good deal.
It's hot.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Steven. Appreciate it, brother.
No, anytime.
I want to touch on a little bit about what Teddy was talking about rushing. I do think that the smart thing to do would be to take our time to move slowly as we move forward, but to move forward. It's important we move forward. I think during times like these, people get caught up with being bored. People get antsy. The anxiety sets in. all of this negative thoughts can start to form in our brains, and we get into this negative little rut. And I'm one of those people. I've been there, and so I try real hard not to go back. I like to look at moments like these, Stephen, as teaching moments. A lot of us, if not all of us here, have worked with kids, especially, you know, Coach Pete, you work with kids a lot of years. I like to look at these moments as teaching moments. I think a huge part of what coaches do when they're teaching boxing with children is not just teaching the fundamentals and the basics of the beautiful science of boxing, but it's life lessons that boxing that comes along with learning how to be a tactician of the sport. I know for me, the lessons, and I've said this, you know, I travel all over the country and I speak and talk to lots of people. And I've said it once, I said it a million times. If somebody would have told me back in my early 20s that the philosophies, the disciplines, the lessons that I would learn to become a champion that I became in the sport of boxing was going to serve me later on in my adult life, in my 40s, I would have never believed it. But it's true. It truly has. And so I look at moments like these as moments to teach beyond what the fundamentals of boxing are. I think we should take it slow. I think we should teach patience. What's going on in the world is a perfect moment for us to teach the kids a little more. I don't know why it is, but as kids, we don't want to hear it from our parents. If I tell my daughter to wear that shirt because it looks great on her, she'll tell me she doesn't like it. But if Coach Pete came along and said, girl, you better put that shirt on, that looks great, she's going to wear it every day for a week straight. So I think that the positions that we're in to be able to influence these young minds and even other adults is important to preach that we do need to look into what the true meaning of what we learn in the ring is. And that is that I find you can apply that to all aspects of life. I do it in my law enforcement career. The lessons I learned in boxing saved my life on more than one occasion in my law enforcement career. So I'm a huge believer in the lessons of boxing and how we can apply them into our real lives. Right now with this COVID-19, all this is unprecedented. So we're all kind of learning as we go. And I think it's also a great time to let kids see that vulnerability in us as adults and say, look, man, we don't got all the answers all the time. You talk to me about a left hook, I can tell you about that all day long. About a left jab, I can tell you about that all day long because I had a hell of a left jab and left hook back in the day. But I don't know how to apply that to COVID-19 and everything that's going on, right? So I'm learning with you.
Right.
And I think if we can give them that message that we're all kind of learning this together, it's going to really open up their minds to receive what we're trying to say as we're learning, you know, moving forward together. All we can do right now is kind of learn as we go. And what we've learned is that we need to create, you know, we need to practice social distancing, was what we're trying to do, both, you know, in the gyms, both outside of the gym, at home, on the job, you know. That's what's working for us, protecting yourselves as much as possible, you know, in boxing, and keep the hands up, always keep your eye on our opponent. Well, right now that opponent for us is COVID-19.
Right.
And it's up to all of us to educate ourselves about this opponent so that we know how to better combat it.
Were you serving in law enforcement career, Anna?
So I'm over here on the outskirts of Houston. I live in a city called
Okay.
Sugarland.
I know my brother lives close in Richmond.
Say again?
My brother is in Richmond.
Oh, that's very close to me.
Yeah.
I work for Meadows Police. Meadows
Okay.
Place Police Department.
Okay.
Thank you, sis. I wanna kind of change venues. I wanna ask Malik. Malik, how has it been going? You know, out there in Hollywood, man? Because I know last week I had Jay Lamont on the show, and he's telling me, like, you know, no gigs, no nothing, because of course you guys are in front of people, in front of an audience, and you guys, you know, have to practice social distancing. How has that been for you as a comic?
It's been, you know, it is what it is. It hasn't been as bad as people think. At least not for me. It hasn't been as bad as it may seem, because working on a TV show for like 9 months, my show was ending right when the shutdown happened. So I was about to be off anyway. I did have a couple shows lined up to travel, but I mean, the time that I'm spending with my kids, the time that I'm getting to actually be home and enjoy my home for once and just sit down and relax and, you know, create. So I've been writing scripts. So I actually been like, hey man, you know what? It's kind of good that the world slowed down for me a little bit, that I get to really, I buy all this stuff and I do all this stuff. My kids and I get to actually see them and enjoy them. My daughter got me on TikTok, so I've been doing that with her. So, I mean, it's really been a, you know what I'm saying, outside of people, you know, losing money, losing jobs and dying, that, you know, I mean, you don't want that. But the fact that I think it's bringing families together, kids are eating home cooked meals, and, you know, parents probably talking more to their kids now than they did all of last year in a month. You know,
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
I mean, unless you are, I mean, outside if you like a, you know, a couple and you live in a 1-bedroom, that probably sucks. Though I think that's what the domestic violence. I think that right there as well. If you look at the data, I bet you all of the domestic violence, them people got a small home. So, you know, that sucks because ain't nowhere to go. You know what I mean? But I think it's great that people get to slow down, you know, see what's important, see that these billionaires and these CEOs, they really don't mean nothing. They don't mean crap because they don't run the country. Workers run the country. So I hope and pray that when we get back to normal, all the people we call essential workers, let's remember that when it's time to pay them, that we pay them essential pay.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't see no politicians on the front line. I don't see no CEOs on the front line. You know, the CEO, you know, right now you go to McDonald's, the CEO's not there. It's those people taking those orders that's on the front line. So why is the CEO I mean, I'm not granted, I think CEOs should make money, but you know, geez, you could take away $2 million out of that salary and spread it across the company, and it would do a lot of people a world.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm hoping that people get a conscience after this. Well, you know, I mean, you know, the politicians and the CEOs, I hope they get a conscience after all this is done. So other than that, I've been good, man. I can't complain. I mean, you know, it sucks, but I'm not tripping.
You know, to go back, that's a good one, Malik. And I can't, and maybe somebody could, I can't understand. One, I spent 22 years, 6 months in law enforcement. And I just walked away from the whole thing of it. Boxing. Back to your original question, Steve. Boxing, we're in close proximity with each other. It's just what it is. You know, social distancing. Unless we're on the speed bag, the heavy bag, the double end bag, you know, we are sparring. We have to be in close proximity. We're just not apart from each other. It's no individuality, you know, but we can't exercise any social distancing unless we're doing something individually on the bag. And I tell people it's gonna come back eventually, but we have to exercise social distancing when it comes to your life because 6 feet under is forever, you know. So I mean, that's forever. So I mean, I get it. I mean, it's just temporary. It's a temporary thing. I don't understand how you marry someone, you live with someone, but an increase in domestic violence when you go home every day. I don't get it. You know, how does that disproportionately rise because you
That's a,
just deal
that's
with
a,
a
no. That's that, and we're gonna touch up on that. No, we're gonna touch up on that. But this is I'm gonna say that for you, Anna. But I gotta get to Coach Peak before she light me up. Coach Peak do not play when she's on her time. Coach, hey, this is what I want to know. You go back into your gym at the center. How is that gonna be possible? You practicing 6 feet apart. You saying like you know what, guys? We're gonna do some sparring, but from long distance. What do you mean from long distance? Well, you gonna throw a punch and you gonna slip and you gonna come back with the counter. Yeah, I understand that, but how is that gonna, you know what I'm saying? How's that gonna relate? Because it seems impossible.
It does. When I first got this outline from USA Boxing and I started reading it, I realized even more so than I had before how out of touch USA Boxing is with gyms and what actually goes on. It told me that they don't even understand boxing. To put this out, they don't understand boxing. And they definitely have no clue as to the types of gyms they have across the country. They say in one of them, in preparation, your bags need to be 10 feet apart. Come on, folks. How many gyms you know are big enough to have room to have their bags 10 feet
That's
apart?
Right. That's right.
When the gym may only be, 10 by 10,
Right.
and they only have 3 bags. Now you got to put those bags 10 feet apart. Then they say you have to practice the social distancing. They say things like, all right, as far as the number of people you can have in the gym, they say that you can only have one coach and a parent, and they have to be included in the 10 people that you can allow in. Now, if you're a coach, if you got it running a gym like me, and I'm the only coach, okay, and just one of my groups is 30 kids, okay, and you got parents who want to sit around and watch, there's no way. And I've already had to try to move bags 10 feet apart in a gym that doesn't have that much room. Then they say, okay, no mitts and no sparring. But yet they say we're going to get to returning to single day events, club shows, but we don't want your boxers to spar or work mitts or anything to prepare them for competition. But we gonna have competition.
That's like a comedian, Ma. That's like a comedian saying you cannot practice any of your jokes, but you're gonna get up in front of this group and you're gonna bomb. You're gonna bomb.
Right.
Like go tell jokes, but you can't make nobody laugh.
Facts, exactly.
Right. So I read over all of the stuff that they had on here. I mean, about the wipes, and then you want to take away, you have to take away all the gloves. And I mean, it just showed me that, one, they're truly not in touch with the sport of boxing. And that may be the reason that, we're on the bottom rung of the global boxing world as far as our athletes being able to really perform, because we used to be at the top. Now we're at the bottom.
Did they mention anything about spit buckets?
No, they didn't mention anything, about spit buckets. They did mention something about, mouthpieces.
I know they mentioned, how spiders spit. Coach Stokes, you know how we spit everywhere. Fighters spit everywhere.
You know what? I wanted to ask Devin, because Devin, you're in combat sports as well. When it comes to jiu-jitsu, you guys are in each other, on each other. And how is that gonna pan out when it comes to the jiu-jitsu world, Devin?
So as far as like jiu-jitsu and grappling in general, we don't have like a governing body the way boxing does, because you guys have a very rich sport that's been around for a long time. So for us, we aren't necessarily held to those types of confines. Like if we wanted to, we could really just all go and train behind closed doors, and it is what it is. Now, I don't know a bunch of people doing that, right? But the way that it affects like me personally, as like someone who trains and has been doing this for a long time, I just look at it as like, there's been days when none of this was going on, where like I was younger and I wanted to train and nobody was there to train at 8 or 9 at night. You know what I mean? So I think just finding the things that you put off to the side that you don't necessarily think about, like footwork, some of your feints and drills that you do that might not necessarily like require someone else. I think that's the only thing that is getting emphasized, like from my perspective right now, in regards to like other grapplers. Like on Instagram, I see a bunch of people doing like drills on like the stability ball, or they're doing their footwork drills, or they're in like they're by themselves in the wrestling room trying to practice on cutting off the ring or whatever, So as far as like the way that it's being affected, I think we've never gone through this before. So we're just waiting to see the threshold of all these athletes. Maybe at some point they're going to say, we don't have anyone stopping us. We're just going to get back in the gym and take the risk. But right now, everyone's kind of, for me, it hasn't really affected it a whole lot. So, I mean, other than not being able to spar as much, I still get to kind of go out and do my footwork drills. I still get to go out and do sprints and everything like that. But when we are like able, I guess, as like a country, I guess, where they're giving us the green light to go ahead and, you know, all the data is there saying that it's all right. I think it's still gonna, I think then it's really gonna be like where we see how effective like this whole thing is, or how much it affects us, because there's gonna be people that don't want to go back to the gym even when they say it's ready to go. So like you might not have all the same partners. You might not be able to spar with some guy that's close to the same weight as you, or you might have to make do with some guy who has a certain level of experience that might not necessarily be up to par with yours, for example, you know. But in the moment, I mean, I'm not feeling it yet. Again, we're only like a month and a half, 2 months in, so I might have a different answer for that in like a month. But
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's a true testament to your character, man. If this COVID, look, if this is gonna affect your training, it's because you're gonna let it. Basically, that's the bottom line. This is the perfect time for everyone to go back to basics. I'm a former boxing champion,
Right.
and I also trained in jiu-jitsu. So I know both of those sports, and I'm telling you, I have a great friend of mine that I work with at the PD. He's a black belt here at the gym, Hensel Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and he trains every single day. Coach Pete, she does something every single day to keep these athletes training. There's this beautiful thing called going back to basics. And when you're not always going to be able to go to a gym, and if that's going to affect you, you know, people say, hey, oh, well, we got to quarantine, can't train. You're going to be able to tell the difference between athletes like Devin and people who are just letting that dictate them their training and saying, okay, well, I guess it's Netflix and chips for the week. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a testament to your discipline, to your dedication to your sport, whether you want to maintain training in the capacity that we're able to do it, or whether we're not going to. You're going to be able to see the difference when you get back to the gym, when you get to rolling and doing that live training, and people are huffing and puffing and sucking eggs and sparring goes back to what it is. You're going to be able to tell the ones who are sitting in that garage, you know, working on stuff, working on their road work and doing their own drills, you know, in their house. You're going to be able to tell the ones who just said, well, the gyms are closed, I'm not training anymore. And the ones that said, you know, bump that, I still got work to do.
So during this time, Anna, what you're saying is, and I believe you, and I agree with everything you're saying, but basically the cream is going to rise to the top. Those individuals that are still continually going hard, and they come back out, they ain't gonna miss a beat. But those other ones that sleeping, they're gonna fall off.
Right. Just like the fighters you see in between fights. You know, the ones that get super, super blowed up and fat in between their fights, and then they go in to compete and they get down to their weight. Like, you know, the Vander Holyfields of the world, who you never saw get out of shape. You know, the Roy Joneses, who even years and years in between you watching them fight, they were still looking at least fight ready. You know what I'm saying?
Young Roy, at least.
Yes, young Roy. Yes. I haven't seen him lately.
If you do nothing but just run, sit-ups and push-up, you're good.
Right.
If you just run, shadow box, sit up and push up. And I know Devin talked about, but I thought jiu-jitsu fall underneath the MMA branch that surpassed boxing financially right now. And truth be told, financially, the MMA jiu-jitsu falls underneath the branch of the MMA, where financially it truly has surpassed boxing.
Well, MMA has.
But I thought jiu-jitsu falls underneath the branch of MMA. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
It does. So I think what you're saying also, and not to get like off topic, I think what you're saying is like 80% correct. I think but I think that instead of saying MMA, I think the UFC in some regards with particular events, not as a whole, but particular events, I think that they may have surpassed boxing sometimes. But as a company, obviously, they're a bigger promotion than like, let's say Golden Boy by itself, or whoever, PBC. But because I'm like a hypocrite, I guess, or I'm like a contradiction, because I'm like a jiu-jitsu practitioner, and like I've boxed a little bit here and there, but I'm not a boxer at all. But I think of boxing like as like the epitome of like American combat sports. So I'm like all into that stuff, but I don't think MMA just as a whole will ever pass up boxing financially. Maybe the UFC as a promotion will be the biggest combat promotion in the world, but as a sport wise and like what the fighters get paid and everything like that, I can't see it ever passing up boxing.
And you're totally right, because if that's the case, Dana White wouldn't be looking at getting into promotion when it comes to boxing. He's trying. He knows there's a lot of money comes to that. But I want to ask Malik this. Malik, how has going back to basics been when it comes to comedians and writers within your field?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We haven't opened back up yet. I think none of this stuff matters until a comedian has to get back on stage, until a boxer has to get back in the ring. Then we'll know how they've been holding up. Because everybody can say they're doing everything right now, but when you get back on stage, we'll know if you know, I mean, although for my field, it's kind of harder to, you know, I guess train. You can't really train. Our training is live.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's no really like, oh, I've been in, yeah, you've been writing, yeah, that's great. But I mean, the audience will let you know if it's funny. I could write 100 jokes right now. I could say they're jokes, but if nobody laughs, they're not jokes.
Yes.
So I won't know how it goes until they're open, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, if you go to a comedy club when this is right, it ends right away, you probably gonna see a lot of comedians doing pretty bad. Not because they're not funny, it's just been, you know, we ain't been on stage, that muscle haven't been being used. So it's gonna take a couple shows to get your, you know, get your groove back. So I wouldn't judge a comedian if I was to see him right out of quarantine. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna give him a pass, because, you know, because
So it sounds like they get ring rust just like we get ring rust.
Yeah, they need that. They need that rhythm. They need to have a certain rhythm.
Yeah, some people are naturally funny, and some people they write down stuff funny. So the comedians who are naturally funny, who can just go off the crowd energy, they're probably gonna be okay, because they could just go off that crowd and get that feeling back. But the comedians who just stick to their script, it's probably gonna be hard for them. They gotta get their mojo back. You know what I'm saying? For me, I can do both, so I'm not too worried, because, you know, I could just go off.
I'm the shit. I can do it.
But, you know, you'd be surprised, some of your greatest comedians, that don't mean they can do crowd work. So
that'll be a natural.
You can be a great comedian, but that don't mean you can do crowd work. I mean, that's not taking away nothing from them. That's just another added skill. You know what I'm saying? Some comedians curse, some comedians don't. I mean, it's just to what you do. But as far as me, I'm just taking advantage of, I'm writing scripts, and when this is over, I can try to sell all them damn scripts, because right now I'm not distracted by everyday world stuff, so I can really blog down 5-6 hours and go hard, and then be like, okay, now I'm gonna go kick it with my kids, I'm gonna watch some TV. I'm not gonna go insane and take the whole day and write, because that's just not how I work. But I carve out 5-6 hours and I'll go hard, and then I'll just leave it alone till tomorrow, or maybe I'll go back to it another 5 hours if I can't sleep, or, you know what I'm saying? But
can't do this Mike Tyson jokes anymore, though. Mike Tyson is done.
Nah,
hey, Steve.
Yes, Coach.
Yeah, you know, it's a matter of when we were talking the other night, and you know, it was said about, you know, having something positive come out of, you know, this sad situation. I think some of the positive things that are going to come out of this for boxing coaches and running gyms and stuff like that is, one of the things is that I don't see things going back totally 100% the way it was before. I don't believe that that's truly going to happen, that we're going to have to make some changes and adjustments to some degree. And some of the things is, you know, as far as being more aware of hygiene and cleanliness, and, you know, making sure that your gym, you know, is on point. I mean, I can't tell you how many gyms I've gone into, and those are some of the nastiest, I mean, places. I mean, I just, you know, I don't even want to put my bag down. You know, I mean, this is going to hopefully force people to, understand that cleanliness is next to godliness, and you need to, your gym needs to be cleaned. You need to talk to your boxers and them about personal hygiene, those kind of things. It makes coaches, more aware of their boxers, like whether or not, your boxer is sick coming in the gym. You've got guys that'll come in the gym, they're sick as dogs, and they're coughing, they're hacking, they're running to the bathroom, and the coaches pay little to no attention or don't even realize they've got a person in the gym that's sick. I never had that problem because, my boxers are my kids. So, I know if they're not feeling well, I know if something's off, I'm going to come to them. I'm going to talk to them. I know if they're having a bad time with girlfriend, wife, whoever. I know it because as a coach, you have to be a minute observer. A good coach who's going to be a good teacher has to be a minute observer. You have to know everything that's going on in your gym. And my boxers accuse me of having eyes in the back of my head because I know what they're doing. I could be in the other room and call out and say, John, if you do that one more time, and they're like, how did did y'all tell her? They're like, no, we didn't tell her, you man. We didn't drop dimes. How she know? I said, boy, I'm with you day in and day out. Don't you know that I know your voice? I know your attitude. I know your mentality. I don't have to be right in the room to see and know it's you. They'd be like, damn, man, I don't think she's human. Which may be true, but I just think that maybe that will help, and that'll be some good that will come out of this for coaches to make them more aware and open their eyes.
Good.
I hope that is the case. No. I hope that is the case, that it doesn't go back to normal and that there's a more awareness, because I tend to feel like people forget.
They do.
People
they
forget,
really do.
And they move
they
back
really
on to doing stuff the way they always did. So I hope that I'm wrong on that end.
Well, Anna, I got to piggyback off that, but what is the saying? History is, history repeats itself when people don't pay attention to it.
Right.
And the history will continuously keep repeating itself. So I really think that this is God's way of saying, like, get your life in order. When it comes to your family, where it comes to slowing down, you've been on the road.
Still.
Exactly. You gotta be still and chill. I do want to throw this out because I wanted you to answer that question for Teddy when he was saying, when it came to the DV, domestic violence and stuff like that within the close quarters. I want you to answer that. But then also I want everybody to write down. I thought about this the other day. I didn't think about this, but my beautiful wife thought about it. Baby, are you on anywhere? Can you chime in?
So don't take credit for it, Steve.
I'm not, man. I'm not. I
see you try to take credit for it, but she's really close. Man, I'm about sick of you stealing from me.
I love you, brother.
I'm about sick of you taking credit from L. Jesus, man. Always trying to take credit from L.
Oh, man.
That's all right.
Hey, if I didn't learn nothing else in the Marine Corps was respect and humility and honor, I definitely learned how to skate it when it came to something.
Man, stealing from the wife is not good.
We a team. It ain't no iron team, brother. Ain't no iron team. But she came up with a question. She said, "What if there was a draft in boxing?" And I was like, "Man, how would that be?" So each and every one of you, Coach Peak, you're in charge of Peak Productions, and you're in charge of Carol Zales boxing, Teddy Randolph boxing, Devin boxing, Malik boxing promotions. You guys got 5 people that you have to draft. I want you to write down right now while Anna is answering this question. Who are your top 5 people, past, present, and future, that you would draft? Okay.
All right.
Draft for what? Football?
Boxing. If boxing had a draft.
Oh, we drafting boxers?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I'll start off. With me, number one would be it'd be Floyd Mayweather. Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah. I was gonna say which one?
Pretty Boy Floyd. So it'd be Floyd with me. All right, so I'm gonna go down the list. Teddy, who would you take as your number one?
Oh my God, why did you have to do this to me?
Yeah, come on.
Oh God. You know what? Because he was such a unique fighter,
Yeah.
and because of his era, and because of his weight class, pizzazz, I erased somebody, but I'm gonna say his weight class, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh man, we do that. Okay.
Ray Robinson.
Okay. Anna, what about you, Anna?
I have so many favorites, and I think a lot of times it's because I tend to be a little biased because I know some of these guys and they mean, you know, a lot to me. But if we're talking famous, you know, some of the greatest, or we're talking in the amateurs, what are we talking? Like all that we know, period?
You thinking about them as a professional, how they gonna, you know what I'm saying, sell tickets, of course, win, those type of things.
I would have to say I really love me some Manny Pacquiao.
Can't go wrong with him.
So I get to pick 5, right?
You do.
Because I got them.
You do. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna come back to you.
Okay.
All right. Coach Peak, who you got?
I've got Earl Spence.
Come on, man. Are you kidding me? What Earl have proven besides fighting what he fight today? These are old fighters. Come on now. Come on. Come on. You talk. Come on,
All right,
coach.
all right, Teddy.
Come on. Are you kidding me?
Teddy,
I have to fight. I have to dispute that, man. I can't respect that.
If we're doing old ones, if we're doing
He said of all time.
No. That's her first. That's her first. No, mom. That's your first. That's your first. So we're gonna keep
He
it.
said of all time.
No. I said past, present, future. So that's her one. That's gonna be her one. That's gonna be her one. Okay, Devin. Who you got, Devin?
Coach Peak, when I see you, we gonna fight right off the bat. Just swing at me.
I'm always looking for a good fight.
Hey, Devin.
If they've already been picked, we can't pick them, right?
No, you can pick them.
Oh,
Okay, so number one, I have to be Floyd. Then that has to be number one.
Okay, then. All right.
Y'all pick your fighters y'all can remember, man.
Malik, who you got, Malik?
I'm glad y'all cleared it up. I thought when you said draft, I don't know, I've been watching the news. I thought you meant like boxers we was gonna send to the war. So I was gonna pick all white boxers. So
Oh my God. What is wrong with these guys, man?
all white boxers.
He's a comedian, man. He's a comedian.
This guy, he is a comedian.
First, right? Country first.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go with Tyson. I mean, that's who I grew up watching, man.
Okay. All right. Cool. So that's all the ones. Second pick, I'm gonna pick a wild card. Well, not a wild card, but second pick for me is gonna be Roy Jones.
Yep, he's on my list too.
RJ. Teddy, who you got for your second pick? Teddy?
You know what, man? This panel right here, when I see all y'all don't do nothing but to swing at me first. Just swing at me. Because I'm knocking out I'm gonna just swing at y'all. Because my second pick, because of the era he came up in of racism, my second pick, and because of what he went through, he went to jail to better it not only for me and for other boxers to come up. My second pick, the humiliation he went through, the money he gave up in his life, I'm gonna pick Muhammad Ali.
Yep, he's on my list too.
Okay.
He's on my list too.
Oh, he's on my list too. He definitely. Anna, your second
Floyd
pick.
Patterson, baby.
Oh,
Floyd Patterson.
man.
Good choice, Anna.
Thank you, Teddy.
I respect you, Anna. I love you, baby.
Thank you, sir.
I joined the Marine Corps from Houston.
Hoorah. I joined out of Cali.
Okay, I'm representing Houston, baby.
Coach Peak, what about you?
Sweet Pea.
Oh man.
Good choice. One of my sparring partners.
Yeah, that's a good guy right there.
Devin, who you got?
I got Aaron Pryor, just because it'd be cool to see. It'd be cool to see that personality and a guy with that skill fight today. Because with like the internet and the way that guy could explode, he would just be like, he'd be probably one of the I don't know, probably if not top 2, top 3 biggest pay-per-view draws right now.
Wow, that's a good one. Malik, your second pick, brother.
Ali.
Ali. Gotcha. All right.
You such a copycat, Malik.
Okay.
Did that. Ex-cop.
Yeah.
Who's a cop, Malik?
Get him, Malik. Get him, Malik. Get him.
They retired.
Lock your ass up. You come to Atlanta for that comedy shit. You come to Atlanta, I'm gonna lock your ass up. I'm gonna lock your black ass up. You come to Atlanta, I'm gonna lock your black ass up. I promise you, I'm gonna lock your black ass up. As soon as you get on stage, I'm gonna say, hey, man, I got warrant for your arrest. Turn around.
You say you retired, right?
Hey, I don't care. I still carry a badge. I'm gonna lock your black ass up. Turn around. Turn your narrow ass around. I'm gonna lock your ass up.
You better have that badge.
I'm gonna have that badge on me. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna put. Matter of fact, I won't even lock you up. I'm gonna put Regina, the transvestite, on you.
Oh no, we gotta go. We gotta go now. We ain't talking about that.
No. But how you know where he at though?
Hey man, they're everywhere. This Atlanta, boy. This Atlanta.
I want in the other room.
Okay, my third pick is gonna be Ali, Muhammad Ali. Teddy, right? Well, who's your third pick?
Man, you know this was a very difficult one, man. But I'm gonna pick this one because he served the country just like I did, and I just think he died owing America money, and I just think before he died, they should have dismissed his debt to the government, the IRS. I'm gonna pick Joe Louis.
Okay. Louis.
Very patriotic in that respect. I'm gonna pick Joe Louis.
Okay.
I'm a man of honor, man. I'm a man of honor, baby. I'm picking good picks.
Your third one, Anna.
Julio Cesar Chavez.
Oh, who you calling?
Come on, man. I knew she would pick that guy, man.
Why? Because I'm Mexican.
Because you're damn Mexican. I love you too, Anna.
but you know who I also really like though. I really like, and I was torn between these two, but then I chose Chavez. But you know who I really admired as a fighter was Mickey Ward.
Oh
yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mickey
Oh yeah.
Ward.
I like Arturo Gatti too.
Yes.
I love both of those guys.
Yeah.
Coach Pete, your third one.
My third one was Roy Jones.
RJ. Good.
Yep.
Devin, your third one.
My third one doesn't make sense right now, but I'm doing it as like a long-term investment. Like if I'm gonna, draft in this rookie, it's Devin Haney, because I think in like 5-6 years that guy's gonna be a savage.
Hey! I like your pick. Devin. Hey, the boy can fight, man.
Yeah, he's next Floyd.
Hey, you gotta represent because he's from Cali, so you gotta.
Of course.
Keep it noted. Malik, who's your third one, Malik?
Floyd, man.
Floyd, okay.
Floyd. Are you
My
serious?
age group. My age group. I bet Floyd will beat your retired cop ass right now.
You know what, man? I used to fight, man. The first thing I do is hit him low, really hard. Remember when
you gotta hit him though.
Remember Zab Judah hit his ass low? Remember Zab hit him low?
He lost?
Huh?
He do? Oh, okay. Okay.
Zab didn't hit him low.
I thought boxers get hit. I ain't know
Zab didn't hit him hard enough.
I ain't never seen a boxer not get hit, but I see him. He ain't lose.
Hey, we you know what? We might as well do a charity event online. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but Malik, the comedian, against Teddy Randolph. We need
a funeral. You said a funeral online. Okay. You said a funeral online.
Hey, remember when Tyson bit Holyfield ear off?
Yeah.
Remember that shit?
I do.
I'm gonna bite his shit off, man.
Right.
Bite his ear off, man.
And where Holyfield now? Where Holyfield? Because Tyson's still relevant.
He in Florida. He moved to Florida.
To do what?
I don't know. Smoke weed. I don't know.
All right, my fourth one. This is. I really like this brother because he knocked you out, but then he could get knocked out too. And I'm just gonna go by him because he was really relevant in my career. It's Thomas the Hitman Hearns.
Hearns, yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Hearns. Who you got, Teddy, for your fourth one?
Okay, my fourth one. You know, in the era, you know, I don't know if y'all ever heard, and this is not my pick, but I'm gonna call the name. One of the first guys that I knew that died in boxing that got killed.
Mm-hmm.
He killed this guy in the ring called Benny Parrott. But anybody could tell me who beat him to death? And but in an era where homosexuality wasn't accepted very much, he was gay. I'm from St. Croix, the U.S. Virgin Islands. Livingston Bramble started me boxing, Rasai Bramble, and he was my next door neighbor. And my fourth pick, which I'm gonna tell you guys, Emil Griffin.
Emil Griffin. Yes.
Emil Griffin, my homeboy, who beat Benny Parrott to death. You know, he suffered a lot of ridicule, man, and in that era of the 70s and the 60s, man, he's a very good fighter. Won the belt like 3 or 4 times, but you know, he was gay, but it's very hidden. But great fighter, 2, 3 times world champion, but he suffered a lot, man. But he really was a great fighter, and that'd be my fourth pick, man, Emil Griffin.
Emil Griffin, good pick.
Yeah, I hold the Emil Griffin, right? You guys are that.
Yes, definitely. Anna, your fourth pick, Anna.
Pernell Whitaker.
Sweet pea. Coach, pick your fourth.
Is this my fourth or my fifth?
This your fourth.
This is my fifth.
This your fourth.
Oh, this is my fourth.
Yes.
Okay. I've got to go with Sugar Ray Robinson. I loved him. I loved his footwork, the fact that he was a dancer, you know, and it served him well in boxing, you know, with defense and movement, and you know, well, Steve, you know, I teach all my boxers to dance. That's one of the first things they have to learn. So, you know, I like Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray Robinson, good pick. Devin, your fourth pick.
All right. So not from a skill standpoint, I mean, just from like entertainment for today's times, I pick Prince Nassim Ahmed.
Oh,
just so that guy could draw the crowd and everything.
Wow.
just for the show, just for the show.
Yeah.
I still have yet to see a fighter throw punches from angles that he used to throw them from.
Yeah.
I just remember being a kid. I used to love watching that guy get crazy in the ring. I didn't know anything about fighting then, but just seeing him do this crazy stuff in the ring, I used to love it when I was a kid.
The entertainment value. Yeah.
Definitely. Malik, your fourth one, brother.
Roy Jones. Before I mean, not the rap in the boxing. You know.
Right.
You must have forgot.
I
did forget.
Oh man. Hey, okay. My last pick for me is gonna be Ray Leonard. Sugar.
Mm-hmm.
That's my last pick for me. What about you, Teddy?
Man, I grew up with so many fighters, man, traveling to Puerto Rico. Salvador Sanchez, Alex Ramos. I mean, you name it, man. Felix Trinidad. I mean, I grew up with all these fighters. Man, the last one, man, you know, oh God. I love Meldrick because I used to spar with him when I was in high school. I love Pernell because I used to spar with him. These fighters make me better. Gabi Canizales, Orlando Canizales, all these guys that Anna knew, you know, I used to spar. These guys made me better. But I'm gonna just, I don't even know.
What? That Anna what?
You know these guys, man. These are great fighters from Texas, man. Great Texas fighters, man. The Canizales brothers, man. They made me better. Man, I don't know, man.
Come on, bro. Just one.
I'm gonna just for my fifth pick. I'm gonna pick a Texas boy that from Corpus Christi that nobody ever that many people, you know. I'm gonna pick Frankie Warren.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm gonna pull a name out that many people had no. You heard of Frankie Warren?
Yes, I have. And you know, Corpus Christi is my home.
See, Okay, and you know Frankie Warren, then, right? A lot of people, huh? Yeah, Frankie Warren. What can I say, man? Guys like that, I grew up watching, training in Laporte with me. All those guys came to Laporte. People like guys from who trained one of the guys, the twins from Port Arthur. What's his name? The coach. Uh, Guys from Port Arthur.
Mm-hmm.
That trained. Used to train Errol Spence as well. Um, Trains. Yes. Used to a great. He was a good middleweight. Come on. You know the guy Stokes.
I okay. I'm gonna think about it when I get to everybody else.
Yeah,
But I know who you're talking about. But it's I can't think of it right now. But you said Frankie Warren. Anna, for your last one, sis.
For my last one, I gotta pick Big George Foreman, baby.
Okay, Foreman.
Only because I just think he's adorable. He was always gracious. He was always gracious in victory and humble in defeat. And I know he wasn't the prettiest boxer out there, but man, if he touched your chin, woo!
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Frankie Warren was a world champion too.
Okay. Coach, pick your last one. Your fifth final pick, Coach. Pick.
My last one was Muhammad Ali.
Okay. The greatest. Devin, your last one.
All right, my last pick, not because I'm picking him. I don't want to pick him over someone like Ali or whatever, but I picked Floyd first, so I bring this guy back just to make the fight. I want to bring back Roberto Duran.
Yep.
Good choice.
Very good choice.
Very
Malik,
good choice.
Your last one, brother. What is your last final pick?
Sugar Ray.
I thought you was gonna say Rocky or some nonsense like that. Mean that you're a comedian.
It was a hard pick for me. I was gonna say Mrs. Coach Stokes.
Oh. baby, can you unmute your mic?
Yes, I can.
Okay, baby. My wife, y'all already know I wouldn't be able to do none of the things that I can do today if it weren't for her. So I give her a lot of respect. But baby, can you let them know your top 5 who you would pick?
Oh, baby, I only had one.
One.
Remember, we just talked about one.
Okay, so let them know you won then.
I have to prepare. He's teaching me. I'm learning about boxing. I mean, obviously my favorite fighter is Cotto. That's my favorite fighter.
Raw, that's right.
Cotto's my favorite fighter, but I would pick Pretty Boy Floyd. I'll give you 5 because you asked for him, and I want to make you look. I don't want to make you look too bad. But Floyd, Cotto. I am definitely a fan of Devin Haney, some of the young kids coming up, and Keyshawn. And I could confidently say Keyshawn, as long as he continues to do things that he learned when he was with Coach Peak, I think that could take him very far with all his experience and what he's done. But I really just thinking about business, on the business side, someone that has a very strong coach, someone that can come up and do very well. I was telling him the person that I would sign would be Gervonta Davis, because I feel like coach is solid, so you don't have to worry about that. And I feel like he's young enough to be molded and to be guided to where he can make good personal decisions and professional decisions if he has the right team around him. So I think I only gave you 4, but those are my honest picks.
Awesome.
Hell, you looking ripped, man. I have all my money on you in a domestic violence situation. I have all my money on you, L.
And you gonna lose all your money too, because we don't fight. Ain't no fighting over here. Ain't no fighting.
That's good. That's good.
It's all love making. Baby.
I don't even test it. He's a Marine. He's a retired boxer, and he's a little.
Hey, Anna, can you thank you guys for giving me those. But Anna, can you, on a serious note, can you go back and touch up on what Teddy was saying about when it comes to domestic violence? Because I would like my audience to hear about that. They need to know.
It's something that, I think law enforcement as a whole right now, a lot of us, not all of us, because everybody doesn't have that luxury, but a lot of us have fallen into a reactive role. We're mostly reactive right now. And what that basically means is we're not out there initiating investigations more than we're reacting to calls for service. And that is something that we're seeing a lot of going on right now, is a spike in domestic violence, a spike in disturbances like that, family disturbances. And people want to know, why is that? Well, a lot of people jokingly say, well, it's because you're all hunkered down together with the kids, and mostly everybody's used to going to work, kids going to school, and you only have just a small set of hours that you're spending together at the end of the day. And so people say, well, we're getting on each other's nerves, but you have to think about all the other mitigating factors. You got people worried about finances right now. They're really stressed out about finances. And I think in any marriage, in any relationship, that's always a source of worry for your average American couple, right? So people are worried about finances, job security, all of that. If you don't have an income coming in, it's difficult to provide. So now you got all the kids home. So your electric bill is going to go up, your water bill is going to go up. You need more food in the house. So all of that is definitely a stressor for people who are struggling through that. You get people who normally like to take in, wet the whistle, have some drinks, on the weekends when they're not at work, but now they're home all week. So the drinking increases, the stress over finances increases. You're in each other's face more. And it's just all of that kind of serves as like a spark to a powder keg, right? It's just going to all create a lot of, you've got the angst and the anxiety of this virus and what it's doing to everybody. You've got the media, because you're watching TV all the time now. People are watching the news. Then you've got the news media feeding all of this information. And then what do we believe? Do we believe all of it? Do we believe some of it? Do we believe none of it? So it's just a real scary time. You take all of those stressors and pile them on top of each other, and it's going to fill the water. The cup is going to get filled with water pretty soon, and eventually it's going to overflow. And when you've got alcohol involved or drugs involved, it's the perfect recipe for that type of situation. We are seeing an increase in the domestic violence in law enforcement across the country. So yeah, officers are responding to that. And then what you see is what comes with that. Sometimes we have officers responding to homes, and as it is in law enforcement, and Teddy, you can attest to this, domestic disturbance calls are one of the most dangerous calls that we could ever respond to.
It is.
And then you add to that alcohol or mental health issues, and it's just a disaster. So you see a lot of officers are either getting shot and killed, or people involved in these domestic violence incidents are getting shot and killed. You're seeing suicides jump up higher. Unfortunately, during these crazy times, we do see that. We do see spikes in domestic violence and spikes in suicide. And what it all boils down to is one's inability to process and cope with and deal with the stressors that are being dumped on them at the same time. And what does that boil down to? Mental resiliency. We're lacking in that area as human beings. You take law enforcement, you take professions, you take everything out of the equation, and what it boils down to is how well equipped are you emotionally to deal with sudden changes? How well equipped are you to improvise, to adapt and overcome? As Marines, we were trained in that from a very, very young age.
To add to that, you see, you're even observing a spike in the suicide rates as well.
Yeah, that's what I said. The suicide rates is shooting up too. Usually we see spikes like that during holidays and things like that, Stephen. But right now with this pandemic going on, people are just, hey, I don't have a job. I can't feed my family. The depression's already been there. You've got all these other underlying factors, alcoholism, drugs, whatever the case may be. And then again, the person's inability to cope with that sudden onset of stress is just a recipe for disaster. So that's what law enforcement is seeing. Law enforcement is seeing all of that. Unfortunately for us, not a lot has changed, in that respect either. Like Malik was saying, a lot hasn't changed for me. I was already kind of coming off the back end, so my life hasn't changed a whole lot. And I would say that there are just that's the exception, not the rule with this whole thing. But with law enforcement, These are things that we see on a daily basis and that we face on a daily basis. And when you have a pandemic like COVID-19, it just kind of exacerbates that already difficult issue, and it just creates the increase. That's why that happens.
I refer to boxing. You break for a minute, you go to your separate corners, you break, it's like you break for a couple hours during the day. You go to your various work.
Right.
Cynthia, you may go to lunch. Some people work for 12 hours a day. It takes you, maybe some people commute for maybe an hour or two to get home. And then you bathe, you shower, you may see each other, talk to each other. You spend more time in your job than you do with your own family. Mm-hmm. So now you're spending more time with your family than you do your job. Right. And that's where the hang up takes place. And I tell people, next thing you know, it's more time you spend with your family when it should be the other way around. You're doing all this crying at a funeral when it's supposed to be you spending more time with your family than on your job. Know your people better than, and so people don't know how to.
I'm like Malik. I'm loving this extra time home.
That's right. I am too. Because you should love the situation that you do have now and learn how to cope with that instead of spending time on your job. They don't give a shit about you. Mm-hmm. Just like I tell people, you didn't pay teachers, you didn't pay law enforcement well. Now you're becoming where you have to know how to do a plan. You have to do what they call it, a schedule, the lesson plan for the class. Now you see that teachers, the bullshit that they have to put up with every single day of the week. Now you have to become a teacher, the counselor, Ted, the career planner.
I think that people took a lot of things for granted.
You don't pay teachers
like
anything.
Anna and them frontline people, the police officers, the nurses, the doctor. People took that for granted. You understand the importance of these individuals because they are helping to save lives. If they weren't there, our death totals at 50,000. And that was we're not talking in a year. We're talking in 8 weeks? Mm-hmm. That's a lot think about that. That's a lot of people dying in a very short period of time. And if it wasn't for the essential people, the frontline people, it would be 3 times as bad, and people are just beginning to see and understand the importance of what people do, because before that, they didn't see it. It was invisible. They just took it for granted. Okay. You can't take that for granted now. Yeah. That's in your face. You need these people. Without them, things would really be unbearable.
Right. Coach, I'm gonna have to cut it off there. This has been a great podcast. If you guys want to continue this next week, you're more than welcome to chime in, because I have another panel next week. But I'm gonna end with one more question. I do want to ask Malik this though. Malik, how can we continue to support you and what's been going on when it comes to comedians? Because hey, Teddy, I know you've been talking a lot of shit, but this brother's funny, man, for real.
Is he?
You don't want no drama with him, for real, because he will rough. He
don't want no drama with me. I'm gonna lock him up.
Malik, how can we continue to support you?
Man, you know what? I'm actually, financial wise, I'm good, man. I've been blessed that, like I say, I got some money put up, so I'm okay financially. But people could just watch shows. Watch Black AF on Netflix.
Black AF. Oh yeah. Black. Okay, I see that.
Black AF.
Okay. I started watching that, so I'm definitely gonna watch it.
I wrote on that. You could watch The Neighborhood on CBS. I write and I act on that. So I got 2 shows going right now as we speak during the shutdown. So it's actually
hashtag Black AF. That's with Barris.
Barris.
Oh man, that's a funny show, man. Oh my God.
Who's on there?
Barris.
Creator of Blackish. He's on there with
Black. Yeah.
Quincy Jones' daughter, Rashida
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's oh my God, it's a funny show. I've been watching.
Hilarious.
It's a series. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
so I wrote on that show. I mean, you know,
Okay.
so I'm okay. Just keep supporting the shows, man, and you know, support social media, you know, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it is a lot of comedians that make a lot of their money on the road, so those guys are really suffering. So if you happen to see some of their content on social media and they have their Cash App, if you like it, you know, donate something. I mean, you know, we all hurting, but if you can afford it, donate. If you can't, at least leave a positive comment. You know what I'm saying? Give them something.
If you see the hashtag Black AF, they don't need nothing, man. Them guys are rolling in cash, bro.
Well, the creator is. Don't say that.
if you see the show, bro, with the Acura and the pool and the outdoor, oh boy, oh my God, those guys are, oh Lord Jesus, they're good to go.
My last question to everybody, and I want everybody to think about this when I come around. And while the mic is on you, Malik, I want to go ahead and chime in on that. But how do we as leaders in our communities serve our kids and neighbors? So how do you feel like, you know, what is going to be the best thing for us to do as leaders in our community, you know, after this day forward?
I mean, I just think is each one teach one, man. Pay it forward. I mean, I think that's the best thing you could do is pay it forward. I know, you know, it's crazy. I think it's Starbucks. I don't really go to Starbucks, but my kids love it, and their mother takes them to Starbucks. And they do this thing at Starbucks, some crazy thing where you'll be in line and somebody will, by the time you get to the window to pay, the person in front of you paid. Like, I don't know if you ever experienced that at Starbucks.
They paid for your order.
They pay for your order.
Yeah.
And the
Never
thing
had
is, you're
that.
supposed to pay for the person behind you. So I would just think if, you know, Starbucks needs to start promoting that, to be like, hey, do that outside our drive-through.
Wow.
Maybe we do that in the real world outside of just Starbucks drive-through. And I think that's all it is, man. I mean, I think, you know, I'm a big believer in, you know, prayer and, you know, I'm not religious, but I do believe in God. And I think the thing is, sometimes people wait for magical prayers, and I think God doesn't work like that. I think God works through people. So we all have the same, you know, we all have a little bit of God in us to just bless somebody. And I think if everybody does that, we'll be fine. I mean, I think if everybody can little, whether it's kind words, money, time, advice, whatever it is, it don't have to be monetary. You know, but I think that's what we need to do going forward is teaching each other. If you know some information I don't have, break it to me, man. Give me some information. You know what I'm saying? If you have some information that I could use, give it to me. So I think that's what we should do, especially in the minority community. We really got to start sharing information with each other, man. We were quick to forward a funny meme that's, you know, about that, but we don't quick to forward a job fair. We don't quick to forward, even in your own job. If you know they just fired 3 people, let 3 people know, you know, looking for a job. Hey, they fired 3 people at my job. So I'm giving you head up that, you know, they might be hiring soon. Yeah. And I think that's what we need to do, just share information and knowledge and, you know, stuff like that. It's not all about money all the time.
Malik, one last question. If people to follow you on your social media, how do they get in contact with you?
It's Malik S Comedy on Facebook, Instagram, MALIKS Comedy, COMEDY. I don't spell it all crazy, just regular spelling.
Malik LIKS.
Yeah, comedy. Look at the police, man. He don't know how to spell. That's why he became a cop. Couldn't do shit else. You know you could be a cop in 6 months, but be a barber in 2 years.
You know what?
So that lets you know the qualifications of being a cop.
You know what, Malik? I'm gonna let you get away with that one. It's all right.
You gotta come back. You gotta come back, Teddy. You gotta come back.
All I need is information of on his driver's license. I know how to write that shit down, transfer it to a ticket book. It's good to go.
Can you read it though?
I can read it. Copy your damn name the same way spell on your driver's license, transfer it to the ticket book, and make your black ass sign to the bottom of the ticket book.
It takes 6 months to be a cop. I'm gonna just leave it there.
I see your ass in court.
All right, Devin.
Malik, I'll whoop your ass when I see you, man.
Devin, can you answer that question? How do we as leaders in our community serve our kids and neighborhoods better?
I think it's mean to sound like vague with it, but I think it's a balance of being like observational, like paying attention to whatever data is coming in versus like having a little bit of courage, right? So like paying attention to data, not overreacting to it, but having enough courage to be like, hey, we're not freaking out over anything that like just because they're going to be looking at us. You know what I mean? If you have kids in front of you and you're freaking out over anything that's coming on the TV or that you're seeing on your news feed on the internet, they don't know any of that. They're just going to know, oh, this person's an adult or a grown up. You know, they're acting that way. I should probably be scared too or feel some type of way about it. So being observational with the data, but also having enough courage to be like, okay, I'm going to put in some effort to try to live my life normally to whatever extent that may be right now. So like we were talking earlier, you can't go to the gym and train right now, but something as simple as still trying to train and do things that are closely related to your normal life until we're able to ease back into whatever normal is going to be in the future.
Thank you. Thank you, Devin. My sis, Anna.
Yes. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's what a good friend of mine says. He started his own foundation. He helps people all over the country. I really like that. I'm one of those people that I like to clap when you win. And my mama used to always tell me, pay attention, mija. Pay attention who claps when you win. That's what she would say. And I'm one of those people that likes to see people, you know, succeed and do well, whether, you know, you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, I don't care whether you Democrat, Republican, you know, it doesn't bother me one way or another. I just think that we need to be really doing more to lift one another up instead of tearing each other down all the damn time. That's how I roll. So I think just be that good that we want to see in this world. If you're, you know, bitching and complaining about, you know, this, that, or the third, well, just be that good that you want to see. It's not that hard. It's really not. If we do more of that, I think people would be less mad at each other, you know? I'll tell you what, bro, you know, when I almost, you know this, I almost got in Coach Peak. I know you know this, but, you know, I was almost murdered on duty in 2013.
Anna. That was something I wanted to bring up, and I didn't want to bring it up, but do you feel comfortable with talking about that?
Yeah, no, I don't feel uncomfortable about it at all. But what I was going to say, you know, was that when that happened to me, you know, it's something to be said for when you stare your own mortality in the face. When you believe that, you know, you might gonna die here, you know, something in me changed, and it changed. It could have gone one of two ways. I started to go down a really dark place, and I was not a very nice person. I was very angry for a long time, and I struggled with the aftermath of what I went through. But that speaks to mindset. You know, as a nation, that's what's going to happen with us. How are we going to take this horrible thing that's going on in this country and be stronger from it? Well, that's what I chose to do with it. So when I say I went to a really dark place, it took a lot of work to claw myself out of that place, Stephen. And when I'm telling you that my perspective on life, on things has changed, it is true. It is true, man. The small shit doesn't even faze me anymore. You will see very, very, very clearly after you almost die what is important and what is not important. And to me, what is important is that we lift one another up. You never know somebody's story. You just don't know unless they tell you what their story is and what they have overcome. And so for me, that is what I'm super passionate about. That's why I love to just lift people up. I say do that. Change your mindset. Decide how you want to deal with the punches that life throws at you. And when you either slip the punches or you take the punches, how you come back, that's going to define what kind of champion you are. Me, I'm a champion in life. That's what I am. I have God's favor on me. And so I just choose to kind of push that out toward other people and let them feel that too. So.
Thank you, sis. Thank you so much for sharing that with all of us. Last but not least, Coach Pete.
Well, you know, kudos to what everybody has said thus far. And that is so true. And, you know, I've been coaching amateur boxing for over 43 years. And I have used boxing as one would use a shepherd's hook. It's been my way to pull people in, you know, and help to put them on the right path, to give them, you know, a reason to move in the right direction, to lift themselves up and to see purpose in life, that make them believe in themselves. I tell my boxers all the time, you know, conceive it, believe it, achieve it. You can do anything you put your mind to, but you have to believe. And so I work very hard to help them to believe in themselves, you know, so that they can go on and accomplish, you know, those goals. So, you know, I'm very passionate about, you know, working with young people and doing that for young people, you know, and helping to guide them and put them on the path to success. Because I believe they all can be successful. And people have come at my gym and say, you know, they'll sit there for a while and they'll watch me and they'll say, you know, you just, you know, you seem so loving and passionate towards kids. I said, in each and every one of them, I believe. Okay. And what I do is help them to believe. And when I do, success follows. So that's a little bit of what I'm about.
Well, you have definitely left your mark, Coach Peak, because you left a thumbprint on my life when I met you all those years. Let me tell you, I met Coach Peak many, many years ago, back when I had just one ass instead of two. And I'm gonna tell you what, Coach, you always made me believe I could be anything in the boxing world. So I never forgot that.
Thank you.
And look at
Coach.
you now. Look at you now.
Coach Stokes, this is my first time on the show. Thanks for inviting me on your show. And I'm going to say this to Anna Marie. Thanks for sharing your story. And me being a retired officer after 22 and a half years, man, I appreciate you telling your story. And as you say that, man, I've had many close calls. And it resonates to me as you spoke your story. I've had many close calls in life. Just be safe, be safe, be safe. But I tell you, God have a calling on your life. And as I say that, I'm about to tear up because I've had calls that just, and I walked away after 22 and a half years. And so for me to tell you this, it's just, it's unbelievable that we don't see color when it comes to what we do. And even in the Marine Corps, we call each other dark green Marine or light green Marine. And I tell people, it's like, what is that? You know, but that's what we call each other, because you never know who's gonna help you get home. That's what they always tell us. And so even in the form of boxing, we just never, that's just never an issue. So, but I listened to you and I was like, wow, you know, it's just amazing. Like I really appreciate you having this panel. It's more than just, I think I hope everybody looking at this took some from it today, what we spoke about, not only just boxing, but about life.
Yep.
And just life. And I hope that whoever is watching this show, we spoke some positive to them today, to give them another outlet. I know me and Malik war with each other, but we meant well with each other. But
we didn't war,
one
man.
thing I could tell Coach, Anna, is that everybody have a circumstance in life, and things happen in your life, but just listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And officers take the badge and act like they're God. Some officers, we're not God, you know, but listen to everybody's circumstance, because everybody have one. No matter how small or how big it is, but listen to it and just listen to it and make a decision. Some things we act upon, and some things we're like, you know what, have a good day, and just walk away from it.
Yeah. And that's what this COVID is. This COVID is something that
and some things I've learned in life, I don't have to lock up everybody. And I hope you Malik, I don't have to lock up everybody.
That's Malik.
Sometimes I just walk away. All right, man. Have a good day, man. Whatever. You know, I've
You can
learned
lock
that.
me up, long as you can lock me up, long as it's a false lockup, and then I could sue and make some money.
But Malik, I love your show, man. I love that show, man. A matter of fact, I watched an episode tonight. I love that show.
Appreciate
But
it,
anyway, thank you guys, man. Coach Stokes, wonderful show.
Don't worry about everybody. I would like to say everybody that's on this panel, I have some type of history with. You know, Coach Peak. She literally raised me from the age of 13 to, you know, a grown man. Anna, you know, I mean, we met when I came to Camp Pendleton when I was going to fight in the blue and gold, and they put us both in the ring together. It was like, you want to take a, you know, you and the female boxer, the first ever, you know, you guys want to take pictures together. I was like, okay, but then Anna was really cool and she could fight. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, you know, a ploy, like this is gonna be the first female Marine. No, she kicked ass. Teddy, you know, you was always the big brother to me, man. And I wish I would have been on the team. I wish I would have been on the team with you during that time, but you know, I wasn't. You know, Malik. I met Malik coming out of the barbershop when I was down in Hollywood, you know, and I happened to look at him. I was like, hold up, I know this cat. You remember Malik? I was like, I know you. You was on Def Comedy Jam. and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. And he's never had his ass on the shoulders or anything. You know what I'm saying? I just reached out to him on social media, and the brother said he would do my show. So Malik, man, thank you for doing that, man, because you got a lot of cats out here that forget where they come from. And Devin, man, I've been knowing Devin for quite a while, man. Devin, you're a stand-up guy, man. And I have not forgot. I am gonna come down there so you can show me some jiu-jitsu. You know, it's just out of my element, man. It's out of my element.
It's great stuff, Steven. You gotta do it.
I know.
You gotta do it, man.
I know. But you know, the last person I want to go ahead and mention is my queen, is my rib, and that's my beautiful wife. Because if it wasn't for her, I would not be doing this right now. So everybody, I just want to say, tune in, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram, Stokes_boxing. Follow all these great people. But I just want to mention, this is Coach Stokes, and I'm out. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Peace out.
All right,
Peace out. Anna, stay in touch.
Peace, Anna.
All right.
All right.
I ended it.
You ended it?
All right.